You mentioned like staying with your wife for so much time. If you want, we can skip this one. But like, how do you make that work for all that time? Because you're traveling around playing in the NHL, and then you're coaching, and you've managed to have some success. So like, what do you think?
She is a very, very special human being to put up with it. I mean, she's a special person to put up with it. When I was playing the tail end of my career, the kids were young. And then, I dabbled around a little bit for 5 or 6 years with junior hockey and stuff, just seeing if – I never thought I'd be a coach. And then I started dabbling in it, and then the opportunity came up with LA, and she says, go try it. And not in my wildest dreams would I thought I'd be with – it just doesn't happen as a coach that you're with an organization for 17 years. And
well, just to go back to that whole transition of from playing to what's next, I'm almost fascinated at the fact that that wasn't your first option. It's like, how do I stay a part of the game? Because I think a lot of guys that are transitioning out of the game would like to stay a part of it through broadcasting or coaching or scouting, whatever it may be. And a lot of them don't get that.
Well, one of the things I did is the Life After Hockey program. I went and did the broadcasting seminar at Quinnipiac. So I did that. So I thought maybe that's something that I might dabble in a little bit. And I was doing a little bit in Vancouver with that. And then all of a sudden I got a phone call from Dean Chenoweth, to come to Seattle if I was interested in doing that, because I was involved with the Coquitlam Express in the BC Junior League a little bit, helping out. I was kind of a part owner with Dave Lowry and Kirk McLean and Darcy Rhoda, so I was kind of just dabbling a little bit. And then Dean gave me the call, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll give this a try. And then the following year, Don Hay gave me a call and said the job with the Vancouver Giants, and that just made more sense to be right in my backyard. That's kind of how it all happened. And then, then I got the phone call from Mark Crawford, hey, the job's of yours in LA if you want it. So
wow,
it's kind of bizarre. I interviewed for the goalie coaching job the year I retired in Vancouver. And they say, well, you've got no experience. And I was like, just finished playing 15 years. Like, what are you talking about? And they were right.
Well, because you didn't have one, right? So how do you do a role that's never really existed, right?
Yeah, and they were right. And it took me in LA. Back then there was no guidebook, to being a goalie coach, and I had to learn myself. And there was
you kind of wrote the book as you went along, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. And some tough conversations with Dean Lombardi, my GM at the time, and trying to figure it out, and him trying to guide me a little bit. And and there's a lot of sleepless nights and questioning whether I was good enough at the position. And then I got to point about year 7 or 8 that I finally realized that, I'm good at this. And, but I also was humble enough to keep working at it, and keep working at it. And don't think I didn't ever think that I had all the answers. And I still don't to this day. I'm still talking to goalie coaches, still talking to other guys, always trying to get better.
Well, I give Trav a hard time all the time about being a goalie. And like, you guys are on an island. I mean, like, you get compared to kickers in the NFL, drummers and bands. You're on an island. You're by yourself. And all of a sudden, when goalie coaches come in, that island gets a little bit bigger. And I'm sure in your mind, like you said, you leave these guys alone sometime, but it's like, no. There needs to be a balance. And I think that balance is still trying to be figured out a lot of times, depending on the psyche of whoever you're dealing with.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's always it's the trying to fit in with the coaching staff, and you're not on the bench, so you're coming down between periods, and the goalie's giving up a stinker, and everybody's looking at you when you walk through the door and trying to deal with that. And yeah, it's and the role of the goalie coach has really changed. When I broke in, it was strictly working with the goalies. Now a lot of guys are eye in the sky. They're working with the injured guys, skating the extra guys. The roles really changed. A lot of the goalie coaches now have become assistant coaches. It's changed. The dynamic has changed a lot.
The first guy that comes to mind is a guy like Wade Flaherty, who was probably around the same time, probably tried to figure things out as he went along as well.
Lot of great conversations with Wade over the years. Him and I had some great conversations, especially when Hellebuck was coming into the league. So it was because the guy that I had as our AHL guy at the time was Dusty Emu, and he was he had Helly in the minors and stuff. So yeah, there was lots of conversation.
Hey, more hockey content. It's might be old, it might be new, it might be a full episode, it might be a half episode, but you can click these boxes because who doesn't like clicking boxes?